Hello friends, today we will continue our discussion on scattering theory. In the last lecture we come across the formula delta n is equal to d sigma by d omega along the angle theta phi f delta t delta omega. In this, delta n represent number of scattered particles in solid angle omega along theta phi direction. Okay. What is F? F is nothing but it is a incident flux. Incident flux is nothing but number of the particle crossing per unit area per unit time. That is the incident flux. Delta T is time, and this is the nothing but it is a solid angle. It is nothing but solid angle. And what is this? D sigma by d omega. It is nothing but, I told you that it is a differential scattering cross section. Differential scattering cross section, isn't it? So in study of scattering, this constant is most important. In almost all study of scattering, we try to find out what is the differential scattering cross section. That is our aim. Main aim is to find out the d sigma by d omega in case of scattering. Why it is important? Because d sigma by d omega it depends on the parameters of this differential cross section depends on parameters of incident particles and nature of target. Okay, nature of target. So whenever you get this constant d sigma by d omega, in a way you are trying to relate the nature of the target and parameter of the incident particles. So from knowing this, you can get the idea of the nature of the target particles. So that's why this differential scattering cross section is very important to know. Now in this, when I say that differential scattering cross section, I am saying cross section. Why I am saying cross section? Because dimension of this d sigma by d omega is dimension is of area. It has a dimension of area. That's why differential scattering cross section. Because whenever there is a cross section, it is about the area. And since this constant has a dimension of area, we call it as a cross section. Now, instead of scattering in a particular direction, if you want to find out this cross section scattering in all the direction, not in particular direction, because this is the scattering cross section along the direction theta and phi. But if you want to find out the scattering in all the direction, then you have to integrate this differential scattering cross section, and you can get, when you integrate it, you will get the total scattering cross section. Okay, so when I integrate, it becomes the sigma. integrate by this formula, means d sigma by d omega, it is depends on theta and phi into d omega. Now what is this? This is solid angle. But solid angle in terms of theta and phi can be represented by sin theta, d theta and d phi. Okay, so d omega is nothing but sin theta, d theta into d phi. Theta is a scattering angle. Suppose the incident particle is moving in this direction. Now after scattering, if it moves in this direction, this is your scattering angle. So theta is about the scattering angle and phi is the azimuthal angle. So now theta and phi. So instead of d omega, if I write by this formula, so then there is two variables, theta and phi. But theta scattering angle could be 0, could be 45, could be 90, and it comes back, back scattered. Maximum theta can vary from 0 to pi only. So theta varies from 0 to pi and phi varies from 0 to 2 pi. So now if I represent d sigma by d omega theta phi with this formula sin theta, d theta and d phi, then integration for theta, that is 0 to pi, and for phi it is 0 to 2 pi, like this. Okay. Now I say the scattering angle, so scattering cross section depends on angle theta, but generally it is independent of the azimuthal angle phi. So this is not dependent on phi. So you can take integration out, and if I integrate by d phi, integration of 0 to 2 pi of d phi, because this differential scattering cross section is not depending on phi. So you can take the phi dependence outside and d phi. So 0 to 2 pi d phi is 0 to 2 pi d phi is nothing but it is 2 pi. Because here differential scattering cross section in our case is independent of phi, and that's why I have written as a 2 pi. So it is 2 pi integral 0 to pi, because theta depends, vary from 0 to pi only, d sigma by d omega theta phi into now no need to write phi dependence because it is constant almost, sin theta into d theta, and that is your sigma. Okay. Now if you have any problem that why d omega is written like this, or another thing that why theta dependence is not there, then in that case you can personally contact me. I will explain you, but right now you just accept that d omega is nothing but sin theta, d theta and d phi, and phi varies from 0 to 2 pi, and it is, since the differential cross section is independent of phi, I can take integration out and it will be 2 pi. So now this is my total, this is nothing but total scattering cross section. This is my total scattering cross section. So in study of scattering, these two constant, differential scattering cross section and total scattering cross section, is very important, and we can understand from this formula. Okay, so this is about the first topic of this chapter. Now let us move to the second topic. Second topic is about the wave mechanical approach. Just try to understand. Conceptually, it is important to understand. Second topic is about wave mechanical picture. Wave mechanical picture of scattering. We'll try to understand the meaning of this wave mechanical picture. So far, in our discussion, we considered incident particles and then number of the scattered particles. So far we have considered particle. It means we have considered the classical picture, because classically these particles are particles. But when the particles are very small object, then quantum mechanically we say that the particles behave as a wave. So in our scattering theory, if you say that the incident particles are like electron, proton, neutron, like that, then these are the quantum particles. Then we can represent it by the quantum theory. It can be represented by a wave. So now we will not talk about the particle, but we will say no, it is the waves. So now that's why we say that it is a wave mechanical picture, or you can say it is a quantum mechanical picture of a scattering. So in quantum concept, the incident particles or object are represented by waves or wave function. So incident particles are considered as a wave function in wave mechanical picture. So now we apply the quantum laws, and when we apply the quantum laws and we consider it as a waves, so we have to understand in terms of the waves, not as a particle. Okay, so in that case, now earlier we said that it is incident particles, but now it is not particle but it is the wave. We can say that it is the steady incident particle, means constant number of the particles are arriving. It is not changing. It is throughout the time, number of the incident particles are constant. So these steady particles, independent of time, it is independent of time. That picture, that thing will represent by the wave function. The steady particles, we can say it is stationary waves. Stationary wave. We can call it as a stationary waves. And it is independent of time. Independent of time. So this is the fundamental difference. Earlier, as an incident particle, we said that it is the particles. Number of the particles arriving as an input is same. It is independent of time. It means input flux is constant with time. Now instead of particle, I am considering as a wave. This wave function are now stationary wave function. That is, wave function is not changing with time. It is independent of time. Now when these particles or waves comes at the target, what happens? The scattering takes place. Scattering takes place. So here number of the particle scattered in this approach. But here in case of stationary waves, in a stationary waves, the waves scattered, not particles scattered, but waves are scattered. Okay, so because of this target, because of the nature of the target, there is a distortion in a stationary wave. Stationary waves which are coming over here, because of the presence of the target, that stationary waves get distorted. It will change. Okay, it will get distorted. Okay, so this is the concept you have to understand, that now I am considering it as a wave. When waves comes at the target, depending upon the nature of the target, the wave scattered. So I say that now wave function earlier it was stationary. Now because of this target, the stationary wave get distorted. There is some changes in the wave, and you can say it is a scattered wave, not particle, because now we are considering it as a wave mechanical picture. So incident waves are there. There is a target and there is a scattered wave. Waves will be scattered. So this is the picture. If you wish, I can draw the figure in a perfect manner. When I say that wave function stationary waves, I represent incident waves not as a particle but as a wave, and that is the incident plane wave. Incident plane wave. Okay, and the propagation constant is suppose k0. Okay, now these plane waves, these are the plane waves. Okay, I will not show the arrow, but just plane wave like this. Now when it comes to the target, now because of this target, depend upon the potential of this, naturally there will be distortion in a incident plane waves, and because of that it get scattered in all the direction, so it scattered in this way, this way. Okay, and some of the incident particle may move like this as it is. Okay, and this scattered particle has a propagation constant k now. This is incident plane wave with a propagation constant k0. Now this is scattered wave with propagation constant k. But you remember I told that in this scattering process it is an elastic one. In elastic scattering, the incident propagation and its propagation constant direction of changes, but its magnitude remain same. Just I told you that this is k0 is equal to k. This is for the elastic scattering. So now I am considering the scattering in a wave form. Now I am considering the incident plane waves. Now what is the meaning of plane waves? Plane wave means what? Plane wave means what? Very simple thing, that whatever waves are coming at particular time, these are the planes with the constant phase. In this phase, the wave have constant phase. In this phase, wave. So these are the plane in which it has the waves as a constant phase. Okay, so that's why it is called the plane wave. But in presence of the target, now the plane waves scattered in all the direction. So instead of moving in z direction, now it moves in all the direction. So now this is the plane, spherical means circular plane, circular or spherical circle you can say, with a constant phase. This is the second plane, spherical plane with a constant phase. This is the third one. So likewise these are this. Now the plane waves. So in this plane the phase were constant. Now after scattering, it scattered in all the directions. So when these waves scattered in this direction, this direction, this direction, every direction. So now at particular point, the phase of this point is constant, and so that's why it is the spherical wave. Incident waves are now converted into the spherical wave. Spherical wave. So now incident plane wave now became my spherical wave. Okay. Now, if I say that incident plane wave function, I represent it is u wave function. INC means incident particle. So for incident particle or incident plane wave, I represent it by the wave function u incident. After the scattering, it scattered in a spherical wave shape. When it scattered in a spherical wave shape, I represent the wave function as C. That is a scattered wave function. Okay. Now, if I want at this point R, suppose, what is the wave function UR? What is the wave function UR? What is wave function UR? Means wave function at a point R. Now just try to understand. Now here I have considered the spherical coordinate system with the origin at this. Okay. So now at the distance R, what is my wave function? That this wave function, it could be there are some part of the incident wave as well. So it could be incident wave function plus scattered wave function. It is nothing but incident wave function as well as the scattering wave function. Now just I want to tell you that here we are measuring the wave function at a large distance compared to the size of this potential of the particle. This distance is very large. So my wave function at this means at what point R tends to infinity. So this distance is very large. I assume that this distance is very large. So in that case, wave function at R is equal to, at R tends to infinity, it could be incident wave function plus scattered wave function, isn't it? Okay. So now just try to visualize very simple thing, that now I am considering the incident wave. These are the plane waves, and that plane waves I represent by e raised to I k z, because it is propagating in this direction. Let us say it is a k0, because I have considered the incident plane wave its propagation constant k0. So u incident is equal to e I k0 z. Okay. So now my incident plane wave is moving around that direction, and that I represent by u incident as a e I k0 z. Okay, that is one thing. But after the scattering, it scattered in all the direction. You see one thing, that suppose in case of classical mechanics, if there is some target, if I throw some particle over here, it gets deflected either in this direction or this direction. Okay. But when I say that my incident waves are there, so incident waves, it can scatter in all the directions, not in one direction. So here I assume that my incident plane wave, after scattering, it will become the spherical one. It moves spherically outward. Okay. It moves spherically outward, and suppose it says it is how it moves outward, radially outward direction. So my scatter wave is expanding in all the direction. So now my incident plane wave is in z direction, that's why I have considered z. But when I consider that these scatter waves are moving in all direction, so my wave function for scattered waves is e raised to I k r. Isn't it? Magnitude wise k0 equal to k. If you talk about the magnitude wise, it is k0 equal to k. Okay, so USC is this. Scatter is proportional to, scatter wave is proportional to EIKR. Okay, because this is my origin and waves are scattered in all directions. As the R increases, scattered wave is represented like this. So U scattered is proportional to EIKR. But you see, when waves propagated in increasing direction, scatter wave magnitude decreases. So when as you move away from the center, as R increases, scattering waves magnitude decreases. As you know that as you move away from this, the wave function, scattered wave function magnitude decrease with the distance r. So actually it is scatter is proportional to not IKR but it is proportional to r. It is proportional to r, and I can write this proportionality constant USC is equal to, now proportionality constant I represent by f theta phi into EIKR upon R. So what I am saying that my scattered waves are proportional to EIKR divided by R, because as you move away from this distance, its magnitude decreases by R. That's why I have to divide by R. Okay. Otherwise, spherical waves in R direction can be represented like this, but I have to divide it by R, because as the particle means scattering increase, if you go from by some distance, so R increases, scattering magnitude decreases by R. So it is like this, and this proportionality constant I represent by U scattered is equal to f theta phi. So now f is now my proportionality factor. This is my proportionality factor and it depends on theta and phi. So now what I am saying, that in wave picture, if the incident particle is U incident is equal to IKZ, suppose after scattering it's scattered in spherical direction, all direction, so scatter wave is this. If we apply the proportional constant f, because this scattering, this proportional constant depends on theta and phi, so this one. So using this U scattered and U incident, you can write UR at R tends to infinity, means EIK0Z plus f theta phi into EIKR upon R. Okay, so now here you have to remember, in wave picture of a scattering, you have to consider particle as a wave, and wave is represented by the incident wave with this wave function, scattering of a wave represented with this, and resultant wave function at a distance which is very large will become U incident plus U scattered. U incident means this, U scattered means this. So now my scattered means a resultant wave function at a particular point is equal to this incident part plus scattered part. Okay. So now from this onward, we will discuss about this wave mechanical picture of scattering, and we will discuss or focus more on what is F theta phi. That we will discuss in the next lecture. Okay, thank you.